Hi, I'm Alan Ross. I'm the managing editor of APC Media, or APC Technology Productions, Transformer Technology, Power Systems Technology. We are here at the RE Plus 2023 event in Las Vegas. This thing is huge. It seems like the battery storage people have come here. So we've got wind, solar, battery storage, and everything in between. But hope you enjoy these interviews. I love interviewing the technology of the future, and enjoy. My next guest is William Alexander Smith, better known as Alex Smith.
Correct.
Not Will Smith. Hey, thank you. You're with Southwest. It's hard for me to forget who you're with, right? You have it on your shirt, you have it there. We're going to talk about that in a minute. First of all, you're the Chief Production Officer, which is kind of a title I haven't heard much of for Southwest, and you've grown it up in the company since 2005?
Correct.
Talk a little bit about where you are now. You've got to be looking at the marketplace and what's happening in the marketplace. This show has dwarfed any other RE Plus show that they've had. You know, they first of all planned this floor and they sold it out. Then they went upstairs and sold it out. Then they put another one
I saw that, yeah.
And upstairs there's some behemoth, two-story things, right? A lot going on. Talk about the industry and from your perspective, what you see out there.
So I think what I see mostly is obviously everything going green, a lot of incentives for different companies to go green. It's something that over the years I've been doing this, I've seen if you can kind of catch that new wave, it's something great to be a part of. I definitely think the more efficient companies make things, so you'll see a lot of manufacturers trying to come up with just more efficient ways to do things, which for a contractor, that means less time on the job site. You can bring your bids down, you can get awarded more jobs. So that's mostly kind of what I'm seeing in the industry is as the growth happens, trying to find more efficient ways to do things.
So one of the things that we, in a couple of these discussions, when I ask what is one of the major problems that the industry is facing, surprisingly, a couple of people have said labor. It's hard to get good labor. Now you have labor that goes out and does things. How is labor affecting what you guys do?
What happens for us is if we can't put, we do a bid and we can't consciously say, hey, we can definitely fill this manpower. It's very hard for us to sell that because the customer can see that and they can see we're not very confident in our, what we can do to meet their expectations. So we kind of do a lot of pre-work on that of trying to find the manpower for these bigger projects before we even submit a bid. But it kind of brings us out of the race for some of them if we can't find it. I think it is a big issue right now is not enough good hard workers in the industry. I don't think there's a lot of people coming into the industry like they did in the years past. It's a social media world where people are kind of going towards entertainment and that stuff to try to, maybe make a quick buck or however they see it. They're not really getting into the trades as much. So finding the manpower is getting a little bit more difficult.
Not getting into it, that's one problem. Department of Energy, OSHA, I think both of them got together in 2021 and they did a 10-year survey, so up through 2030. So it started in 2020. And they said that there's going to be a 5.2% attrition rate every year, people retiring, quitting, not doing it, and an 8.5% addition that we need. There's a net 13.5%. It started 3 or 4 years ago, and all it's done is it's just getting worse. That's the labor problem. Part of the thing you mentioned was efficiency. It's efficiency, automation, when you do the work where the problems are. Don't do the work at where you don't have problems. That's a big issue. I'm the chairman of the Safety and Reliability Association, and that's what we say is don't work on the machines that aren't broke, work on the ones that do. Talk about that from your standpoint. You get a bid project, right? And this is for anybody in the industry. What if they're not doing that right? They want a bid project for all of their assets, and you're saying if there's any way to determine which assets need work, you'd be able to do a better job for them, right? Okay. How do you develop efficiency, or how do they develop efficiency and automation and data management or whatever it is, inspection processes, to make your work that much more effective?
I think with the technology that's coming in place where you can see things from a distance, we do have different customers where we see, we can install all these different sensors and different things that will alert you from across the country saying, hey, you're having issues here. So rather than back in the day where you'd do a general PMI on the entire facility, and it could be, weeks and weeks of doing that, and you might find 5% of the things actually have issues, but they're spending that kind of money for all that to happen every year or every quarter or whatever they're doing. With all these new technologies coming into place, we don't have to do that anymore. They can take that, that money that's allocated for that and move it to projects to expand and projects that make things more efficient. So I think just with the general technology, it is making that portion of things a little bit easier for contractors, to where we can kind of get more into the expansion of businesses rather than just the maintaining of businesses.
That's a great, because most contractors, they get a bid, they have to respond to the bid, there's 3 or 4 people doing it. When you look at what you're talking about, it actually puts you in a strategic contractor world to say, we can do this better if you do this better. And I think a lot of your customers have to be looking at that right now. We just talked with a company that solar surveyed the entire United States solar panel network on their nickel. And what they were looking for was where the problems are, and they came up with a statistic that 70% of the solar arrays in the United States are fine, they're functional, you don't need to do anything. And 30% either have scale problems, like or you have enough problems within it that you got to go do something there. Think about that from your standpoint.
Yeah. So to me, and how I've always done business, I think how a lot of the great contractors in this industry do business is, I'm not trying to make a quick buck. I'm not trying to sell you on something you don't need. I want to find, like you said, your problem. I want to fix that problem as cost efficient as possible, gain your trust. So we have a partnership now, and you're going to now be my client for the next 30 years. So in those kind of things, it's like, I don't want to give you just a blanket, I can do all this for you, and you find out later, wow, I just wasted $200,000 on something I didn't need, So that's just my perspective, and I think a lot of people should start looking that way. Keep costs down to the clients, keep longevity in your partnerships, that kind of thing.
So we're going to switch gears. Southwest Industrial, why? Why should I use you guys? You've kind of set up the problems out there. I kind of know now why I should select you because of the way you set up the problems. But talk specifically about what Southwest does and how you offer it to the marketplace.
Well, Southwest started as a small family business.
Out of where?
Los Angeles. The founder is a man that has values to family and actual products, hence production manager. We kind of consider our installs to be a product.
Right.
And so from there, we've grown very slow over 40 years. We have now been an Inc. 5000 company the last 6 years in a row. So we are starting to expand more and more, but we've always done it with the intention of creating great installs, creating great partnerships, making sure, even to the point of I'll ask my customers if they're getting multiple bids, send me the bid, take out the number, I don't care about that. I just want to at least advise you if you're getting ripped off here or not.
Right.
Even if I don't get the project, whatever, I'll get you on the next one. We'll talk about the next one. I just don't want my customers to be getting screwed over by other people. So I think we gain a lot of trust with our customers. They know we care about them. And then we back up all our installs in that fashion where we take full responsibility for what we put in your building. And I think that's kind of what's helped us expand as a company and why people trust us.
The trust aspect of the strategic relationships, it's hard in the bid world because, by law, they got to go out to bids. But, I've worked with companies and we get in there and say, look, before you even send the bid out, send us the specifications because you might be 2 years late. You might be asking for things that you don't need. And we can help you structure the bid so it's much more effective for you. Do you all do that?
In the EV world.
Oh, yeah.
So we've been doing a lot of EV installations for quite a while. And I remember even maybe 6 years ago, we were installing stuff that by the time the project was done, manufacturer had something way better or bigger or faster. So now a lot of my conversations with the customers when they're requesting EV, I go, well, let's look at the future. Let's look 2 years down. I can throw in a couple more pipes in this trench, put a couple more extra because I'm already there. If I do that, it's not going to cost you that much more, but you're going to really be thankful 2 years from now when a bigger charger comes out. You have the pathway there. You can just pull wire and make it up and you're done. So that's kind of what I do.
Having rented, we have a grandbaby in Los Angeles, right? I live in Atlanta. Having rented electric vehicles without anything of how to operate them and panicking about how to charge the doggone things, fix it. Okay, I'm saying, get your customers to fix it by being prepared for it. But yeah, that's going to be a huge growth business for you guys.
Yeah, what we're finding also is a lot of like manufacturers, they're now requiring dealerships to have a limited, they have to have this amount of chargers at every place. So I will go to a lot of these dealerships, and it's a requirement for them to even stay open to have these chargers. So that's kind of nice for me as a contractor, because I don't have to necessarily sell them on anything. My job then is to do it as efficient and cost effective for them as possible, and also set them up for the future, where it's like, these manufacturers are keep on coming out with newer stuff. Let's look 5 years down the road. What are you looking at? I'm not saying we got to do the whole thing now. You don't need to spend the whole, but let's set it up so that you're prepared, and then you can put it in later.
So William Alexander Smith, Alex Smith, I would buy your product and your system.
Great.
Thank you so much. A great interview.
Awesome.